Hi everyone, I am here today to do the mid-year check-in tag, and I was tagged by Kath over at Kath Elizabeth Reads, and this tag was created by Harriet Rosie and Dane Reads. Now I'll leave links to all of their channels / videos in the description down below so that you can check them out. So there are loads of different tags like this knocking around, and I hadn't really allowed for one in my filming schedule, so I've shuffled stuff around a bit. So things like my book haul and like end of month wrap up and stuff like that will be coming later in the week or next week. I've had to shuffle stuff about because I forgot to fit one of these tags in. So let's get to it. Question 1. How many books have you read so far this year? And I've only read 34 and my goal is to read 100, so I'm actually 16 books behind schedule right now, but I'm not too worried because it is what it is. There's no point in putting pressure on yourself. I'd like to be reading more, but we'll have to see what happens. Question 2. What's your favourite book so far this year? Without a doubt, that is Clean by Juno Dawson. I absolutely adored this book. I'm going to be filming a review for it tomorrow, I think, so that'll be, the review for this book will be up later on my channel later this week. I did also recently upload my favourite books of the year so far, and if you watched that, you will know that this was at my #1. But if you want to check out what was competing for it, what was in like 2nd and 3rd place and stuff, I'll leave a link to that video in the cards and also the description down below. So question 3, what's the most disappointing book you've read so far this year? I struggled a little bit for this one just because I rarely feel disappointed by books. It happens, but not very often. So I've got a couple of mentions. First of all, I have got Bring Me Back by B.A. Paris. I adore B.A. Paris's work, but this one was just mediocre at best for me. It felt really rushed and just did disappoint me a little bit, to be honest. But I feel like that was partly my own fault for hyping up the release so much in my head. I also want to mention the Ashes of London series by Andrew Taylor. So this is a historical fiction thriller kind of series, and I read the first book, Ashes of London, and that I just felt really disappointed by because it lacked the thriller side for me until the very end. It was just really dry. It was almost like reading a textbook at times, to be honest. And it was just full of really long, boring descriptions. And it just annoyed me. And then wanting to give the series a full chance, because I did enjoy it overall towards the end, I then picked up the second book in the series, The Fire Court, and that just really disappointed me too. I thought it was terrible. I DNF'd it. I think it's about 20% in at most. I just didn't want to do it to myself anymore. It put me in such a slump trying to read those. So question 4, what genre have you read the most this year? So I really wasn't sure. I thought it might have been thrillers. So I actually went through Goodreads, through all my books and had a proper count. And I was really surprised to find that it's actually fantasy. My goal was to read more fantasy this year, and I didn't think I'd been doing it, but it's actually going better than I thought. So of the 34 books that I've read this year, 13 have been fantasy, so I'm not doing too badly. Question 5, name a new favourite author you have discovered this year. So again, I'm going to sound like a bit of a broken record here, but because I loved Clean so much, I have got to go with Juno Dawson. This year is the first time I've picked up any Juno Dawson books, and I've actually picked up 2 this year and loved them both, gave them both 5 stars, so Juno Dawson is definitely a new favourite for me. I'd also quite like to give an honourable mention to Liz Nugent. I'm currently reading Skin Deep by her and I'm hooked. Yesterday I read it for about 2.5 hours and it honestly made me feel like I was in the world. It was one of those books where I put it down and when I went to work I just couldn't stop thinking about it yesterday. Like, it was just in my head all the time. So I'm starting to think this will be a 5-star read for me too. And if that ends up being the case, then Liz Nugent is going to be a new favourite for me as well. Question 6. What's the most surprisingly good book you've read this year? So I don't want to sound like a broken record and say About a Boy by Juno Dawson, because or Being a Boy, sorry, Being a Boy by Juno Dawson, because I just need to stop saying Juno Dawson to every other question in this tag. So I've actually picked something else, which is Heartstopper by Alice Oseman. So I heard about this over on Kath's channel It's a web series, like comic series, that's going to be published properly later this year. And I just picked it up genuinely because I was behind on my reading goal. And Kath was highly recommending it because she loved it so much. So I just went into it with no expectations, just thinking this will help me do a bit of catching up, and fell in love. I was flying through it. I didn't want to stop reading. It's an ongoing comic, so I suppose I need to actually go and see whether there's been anything else added, because I can't remember the dates that more stuff gets added. But I just can't believe how much that surprised me. It just blew me away. Question 7. What are your favourite and most anticipated 2018 releases? So I've got 2. I haven't read either of them yet, and quite frankly I can't wait, especially for this first one to come out later in the year, and that is This Cruel Design by Emily Savard. This is the follow-on to This Mortal Coil, so I can't wait to check that one out. And I've also got Providence by Caroline Kepnes. Caroline Kepnes wrote You, and then the sequel Hidden Bodies, and I loved them both, and so I'm just desperate to pick up anything else by her, and this is going to be her latest release. I've seen some mixed reviews, and I've seen that it's likely because it's totally different to You. So I'm going to go in not expecting anything like You, and hopefully I will also enjoy it. Question 8. What's your next big priority for your reading? So, as I said earlier, I'm behind on my reading goals, so my priority is to try and catch up, and also while I'm at it, just try and keep up my current speed, because the last few days I've been having a wonderful time with reading. So try and keep up my love for reading there, and just with the amount that I've been reading, because I've read an awful lot in the last couple of days. I'm feeling motivated, I'm feeling here for reading. I want that to continue for the rest of the year. Question 9. What's been your bookish highlight of the year so far? Without a doubt, this was back in March when Penguin invited me to their offices in London to interview Emily Savard. It was just like a dream come true. I didn't think that a channel of my size could be invited to go and interview an author. It blew me away. It was such an amazing experience to go into a publishing house, see where they do things like film, like record their audiobooks. It was just a wonderful experience, and it's really given me a real buzz for the publishing industry. And finally, question 10 is who do you tag? So I'm going to tag these 2 people who are slightly smaller booktubers, so you should definitely check them out and support them, and they are A Beautiful Chaos of Books and Woman vs. Books. I also want to just re-tag Aoife over at Fred Weasley Died Laughing, because Kath also tagged her. I really want to see you do these questions, Aoife, so I'm also tagging you. Book tagging, more likely to make you do it. So thank you so much for watching this video. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe by clicking the image of me if you want to see more book reviews and other bookish content from me, and I will see you soon. Bye bye!